Hello, dear channel. Today, nameplates. Yes, your name with diamonds in gold in Blender. Let's get started. Goodbye, default cube. Goodbye, light point. Now, top view, numpad 7. Add text. Go to edit mode and write your name. Damien is my name. Exit edit mode with the tab key. Now let's go to the object data properties. Let's put the resolution at 85. And now let's choose a font and choose your favorite font. Now don't forget to save your project. Save. Nameplate, Blender, enter. Now I'm going to append a diamond, so you know that you can buy my assets on the Blender market. Actually, thanks to everybody supporting my work and my channel. Many thanks to you. Upgraded gemstone collection. Okay, so here we'll find the diamond. Okay, let's take the diamond, grab it around here and now. So the dimensions. Remember that we work at meters equals millimeters. It works perfectly fine when exporting to STL for 3D printing. So my favorite diamond size for small items is 1.25 millimeters. Obviously, we need to make the name bigger. So let's take the name and scale it. Okay, until the stone fits in the body of the text. This is good. Let's make a new collection and let's move the diamond to the collection right here. So now let's start placing the diamonds. Let's come here. But first, we are going to distribute many diamonds, as much as possible, obviously. And then we'll see about the text shape, all right? All right, so normally on the channel, I use the Shift D to make a duplicate. But something very important, today we're going to do an Alt D, which means that if I modify the geometry of the original, will change too. Here we go. So Alt D, Y to lock on the Y axis. Now here with Shift, let's adapt the position somewhere here. Okay, Alt D. So this means that we will have to adapt the shape of the text, which is something that you should expect very much when working with text and jewels. Continue. Alt D will deal with the shape of the text later. Now, sometimes you can take a row and make an Alt D on the X axis. I want the same positions right there. Alt D X. Let's take this row again. Alt D X. So far so good, but obviously this is just the beginning. All right, so now what we're going to do is start filling all the positions, which means that even if the stone is not fitting, like here, Alt D, I want the stone right here, obviously. Okay, same here, Alt D. Then we'll adapt the shape of the text. Don't forget to zoom out and look at the entire design. Okay, so on the inside here, this one won't fit. Now, the diamond is already very small, 125. Diamonds can be smaller. Obviously, not any size is a real size. Always think about the real jewel. You know that I insist on that very much on my channel. That's why we are here. Now, let's try smaller sizes. Let's go at 0.75. So this means that here I'm going to use the same size to have harmony on all the design. So general view, and you know what? Let's make an Alt D here for the M, and for the Y right here, and for the N. Okay, so the positions of the diamonds are convincing. Let's save. Okay, so now we want to adapt the text. So yes, the text I used at the beginning was just used to generally place the diamonds to the shape of that font. The shape of the font needs to change to adapt to the diamond, okay? Some fonts less than others, some other fonts way more than others. What we're going to do now, add mesh plane. Now let's go to edit mode. vertex, just keep one vertex. It's good enough. Let's grab it and let's start working on the shape we need. Okay, so my vertex right here. Let's extrude, 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 and let's stay close. Yes, stay close to the diamonds and follow the shape of your font. And some fonts are easier than others. Go ahead and design your own font. Now, F to close. Okay, so sometimes take two vertices, make a subdivide if necessary. That's not too advanced, but it's technically not so easy to design a nameplate with diamonds. Now, save. Okay, here, Alt A, Control left mouse button to place a new vertex here, and let's start extruding, extruding, and let's follow the diamonds on the inside. So obviously, the more vertices you make, the smoother your text is going to be. So also don't exaggerate too much with the amount of vertices, because that would make your text too hard to edit. Here's something, Alt A, B, select this line and do an SX0 to put it on a straight line like this, if necessary, if that's what you want, if that's what you need, go ahead and do that. Let's correct the shape here and there. If you see this leg here and the inside, this doesn't follow that, and that's pretty ugly. At the top, it's pretty much okay. So let's take these friends, let's move them somewhere here. Okay, so this means that this diamond, bye-bye. Take this one, Alt D, X here a bit. Okay, let's go back to the shape of the letter. Okay, and let's adapt this ending to something more suited to the shape of the font. Okay, so as you saw here, you can always adapt the position of your diamonds. The position of the diamonds are not necessarily absolutely definitive. Good. Let's save this. Now, the process is going to be the same for all the other letters. You create your plane, you keep a vertex, you draw the shape with extrusion in edit mode, you adapt the shape to the diamonds, you adapt the diamonds if necessary, and do that for each and every letter. So I'm going to do that, I'm going to speed up the video, and then I'll come back to you. Alright, so now that you got your name written for the gemstones, after selecting all the letters, make a Shift D, enter, Control J, F2 to rename, and put your name. I join the letters because we are manufacturing a jewel, so obviously the metal must be as one everywhere. All right. Okay, now we have the name as one mesh and we want to make it solid. But let's go to edit mode, select everything with A and do an F. The problem is that some areas are going to get filled and we don't want that. So undo this, Control Z, Alt A. Now the inside parts, which is in my case this one, do an L, L here and L there. Do a P selection. Okay, now do an A, F to fill everything. The M seems to be flipped. Do an L on the M, go to mesh, normals, flip. Okay, now we're ready to make this as a solid. So let's go to edit mode, A, extrude on the Z axis like this. Give it 1 millimeter at least. In this case, I'm going to go at 135. Should be nice. Okay, I have this and the insides. Go to edit mode, A, move them down a little bit. Do an F to close them. Do an extrusion on the Z axis like this. A, select everything, mesh, normals, recalculate outside, exit edit mode. Great. Now, let's make the boolean for this. Boolean fast from the insides. We can hide the insides right there. Let's select all of the gemstones here. Let's save. General view. Let's move, grab on the Z axis. Okay. So now, some might say that this is good, but you know what? Well, this is a plain name with the gemstones. Obviously, we need prongs for the gemstones, but also I find the aesthetic a bit too dull. I'm going to copy the name, Shift D this time, Z, just for a moment. Front view, edit mode. Control I, let's remove the top level right there. I'm going to convert this object to, convert to curve. So I'm going to make some borders, beveling some geometry, all right? So let's go here. Add curve, Bezier circle. Let's go to edit mode. Zoom in. Now we need to take this and scale. Let's go at 0.2. Let's do that for each vertex. Okay, exit edit mode. Let's select the name curve here. Let's go to geometry. Let's go to bevel object and let's select this Bezier circle here. Okay, let's tweak some details. Let's scale the border here. And now let's bring this at top edge here. Okay. Okay, here. Let's go with a subdivision surface. Let's make it 3 levels. This is very nice. Now everything is smooth. Okay, so now this border, I'm going to copy it. Shift D on the Z axis. Okay, here I'm going to adjust these borders so they don't overlap. So let's adapt these small details because they don't look good like that, all right? And we can make these details look perfectly good. But anyway, a gemstone needs light on the back, which means that, let's do that actually. Let's create the colors for all the gemstones. We're going to make them very simple. Let's make a Shift D on all the gemstone on the Z axis. Now let's make a scale on the Z axis and exaggerate. Move it on the Z axis, bring it back to the places of the gemstones. Okay, we have this. Now let's make a Control J and call these colors. Let's make a copy of the body if necessary. These modifiers are pretty fast, so let's make the boolean fast difference from the cutters at once. We have this. These walls are way too thin. Okay, let's go back at the cutters, and what I'm going to do is move them up so the holes are not too big. Now this is good. So now here these details look bad, you know, and this generally comes from the normals auto smooth that needs to be turned on like this. Okay, and now we just need a couple of loops. So let's create a torus. Let's go at 85 segments and 31. This is pretty nice, but let's go at 0.3, 0.9, and we are going to go to the middle. Now this I can rotate 45 near the side here. Okay, Shift D X minus 45 here is a new collection. These toruses go in collection number 2 and the Bezier circle also. And now these are going to be the prongs. That's the name of the collection. So let's select the collection, add mesh sphere. Let's go at 50 segments, 25 rings, and let's bring it somewhere around here. Everybody at 0.6 nameplate. So everything is very small. It's a very classic gift. Let's go smooth shading. Now zoom in, edit mode, preview, Alt Z, Alt A, B, let's move this down here. Exited in mode. All right, so this is prong 0.01. And let's make an Alt D for everybody. Don't go over the edge. All right, Alt D, Alt D, Alt T. To the end of the world. So this is the line of prongs. Or maybe an hour if maybe you're very slow and you don't know what you're doing. That's all right. Take the time in. Take your time. People are wrong when they say the fastest you work, the better you work. Sometimes it's much better to take your time. General view, Alt A, save. Now a round of applause for all of you, but obviously we want some render because we like modeling and making sure we renders. And actually thanks to all of you. All right, now, so before we make the render, we're going to make a very small chain on the sides. The modeling is done of the nameplate of the jewel. Let's make Alt D here. Okay, let's go at 0 here and 0 there. All right, now let's go on Alt Z and put it right. You can see the diameter here, the size of the wire, and let's place it properly. All right, let's place it here. Now we have this. We don't need much chain, but for the render we want some chain. Let's make an Alt D right here and rotate slightly at each step. And we have just the space to remake this chain. This is the name plate. Have a diamond right here. Add mesh plane. 50, 0 everywhere. Let's put it right here. Okay. Now camera position. All right, let's make an Alt Control 0. Place the camera. This is a good camera. Viewport display size 200. Side view. Okay, let's move it farther away. We're too close. We want is the name right here. Add empty plane axis. Let's call it depth. It's going to be the depth of field. Let's put it right here. That's like around the middle of the nameplate. Environment, color, environment, texture, open. Environment, I'm going to use the Brown Studio from Polyhaven. Now, let's already set up the depth of field on the camera. Camera depth of field focuses on the top. Right there, f-stop, let's try. Okay, 0.02. Now, let's go to shading. Let's start creating materials. New material, gold. Add ambient occlusion, color to base, sampling 24, and let's make this a gold color. To each prong one by one, that would be very bad. So my prongs, we have the prong collection. Let's select all the prongs here with shift. Now let's add the material once and let's go to object, link, transfer data, link materials, and here we are. Great. Metallic 1, specular 1, roughness 0.05. We are going to add a bevel. Write it correctly. Bevel, normal to normal, sample 16, radius 1, then very simple yet very effective. My birth gemstone is the sapphire. Let's make a sapphire. All right. Okay, here we need some base color, which is sapphire blue, which is around here and a bit down there, maybe there. Okay, whatever. Okay, this is pretty good. Specular 1, roughness 0. All right, now transmission 1, IOR 185, and let's have a look here. Okay, now something very important as always. Let's go right away to light path. Let's go at 62. You get more bounces, more refractions, more reflections, further reflections and refractions. This is better. Okay, what we're going to need also is at least a light source. Let's add a light, area light. Okay, let's grab it. Let's rotate it this way. Let's place it here somewhere. Are we good? Yeah. Now, exaggerate the power. Put some nodes on here of strength at 320. It's way too much, obviously. Now the size to soften the shadow. Let's go at 2. Let's go at 5. Okay, we're way too close, but obviously way too strong, so you can see the shadow that the light is projecting and the spotlight and the highlights that this light is creating on the jewel and the gemstones, because that makes the jewel stand out a lot more. All right, now let's bring the strength at 30. All right, so the ground, first the color. Let's make an ambient occlusion right there. Color to color. I want it pretty dark. Now, this is obviously not dark enough. Let's go at metallic 0.7, roughness 0.1, muswell texture right here. Let's go plug it to normal. Add a vector bump on the height node. Now the strength, let's go at something like, make the scale like, okay, let's go at 2500. The passe-partout at 1, so you only see what you really get on the render and not the outside elements, which sometimes change your perception of the render you're creating here. So I'm liking this pretty much, but what I don't like is the position of the light. So let's take the area light. It's interesting, but it's not really good. But obviously here we can play a lot with the mood of the render. All right, so let's test some other colors, some green here. Okay, I think I prefer some purple lower like this. Okay. This is pretty interesting. Great. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial a lot. I want to see your nameplates. Okay, so I hope you will create some nice nameplates. Be happy.